Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. In this video, I am going to discuss logical functions in DAX. Okay, let's understand what is logical functions and how it help us to move ahead or use in the DAX calculation. So before starting with the logical, obviously there are operators. Even in my previous video, I discussed various types of operators. So there are conditional operators, or we sometimes we may refer that as a comparison operators. And these logical functions use that operators and it returns the Boolean values. Okay, it perform the comparison between the two values based on the selected operator and it returns the Boolean value. Based on the Boolean value, it is able to define what to do. Okay, and this is very similar when if you are familiar with the Excel if else formula, Excel logical formulas, then this is very similar. Little bit changes is there. There we write with reference to the cells. Here we have to use the columns. Okay. And if you want to give the multiple conditions, we need to use the logical operators. That logical operators are nothing but here and, or, and not. These three are the logical operators. So first we will understand what what is this logical operators, what is the conditional operators, what is this true and what is this false, and then we will see remaining part also. But it is important to understand what is the meaning of and or not, even how we can give the multiple conditions in Power BI. Okay, let's start building the DAX. Okay, I don't want to cover that. Okay, fine. Let me create one of the variable. If I go here and if I say new, so variable, if I say variable, okay, I'm talking about the measures. See here, I will create the measure. Okay, and I will say this is as a test measure. Okay, on next line, what I will do, I will use this var keyword to create the variable. Okay, and I will say a is equal to 10. I'm going to assign the value here itself. On next line, I will again create one of the variable, that is b is equal to, let's say, 20. On next line, I will create one more variable, that is what, 30. Okay, and okay, I hit the enter button, that I should not. Okay, so now if you want to compare these values, okay, so you can use the return keyword to return the output or the calculations, whatever the calculation you wanted to perform, you can return by using return keyword. So this is how it designed. Okay, so variables we have created, and I'm going to create the uh, comparisons between these two or three variables. Okay, so in Power BI we have comparison operators called is equal to is operator. This operator is used to compare the two values, whether the values are same or not. Okay, even in case of, okay, in case of greater than, in case of lesser than, greater than or is equal to, even lesser than or is equal to, and then not is equal to. So these are the 6 conditional or comparison operators we have in Power BI, and we have to use this as okay. So these operators basically used to compare the values, as this operators allows us to compare the values directly. Okay, values of variable, not only the variable. Okay, but we can use this on the column also, that I will discuss. Okay, column values also. So let me say a is equal to b, whether this is true or false. If you look at the values of variable a and b, so obviously 10 is not equal to 20, so this expression returns me false. Right, if I say enter, fine, what I will do, I will use the card here to show you the output of this measure. So this is what my measure, I will bring the value here. Okay, and as I said, it is showing me test. Okay, so test measure returns me the output of this condition is false. Okay, what I will do, I will use another conditional operator. I will say a is greater than b. If you look at the value, is my a value is greater than b? No, right? Again, it will return false. But if I say in the reverse order, if a is lesser than b, and if you look at the condition and values, you can simply say this is true, right? This is true. And this is how the conditional operator returns us Boolean value. It returns us either true or false. So now this is just about the only one condition. Okay, any type of operators you can use. Okay, if I say a is not equal to b, obviously it is true or false. So it is true. So it will return me true. Fine. But this is producing a single. Even if you give the multiple values, sorry, multiple conditions, then how to give the multiple conditions? So for that purpose, in Power BI, we have something called logical operator. That operators are and, or, and, not. Okay, these three operators are there. Okay, not is applicable, even you can use to invert the result. But let's say if you want to put the multiple conditions, we can use and operator or operator. Let's understand what is and what is or operator and how it is going to affect. So if I say and, okay, so as I said, this allows me to give the multiple condition. But in case of Power BI, okay, it is allowing you to give that only two expressions, two logical expressions, not more than that. In case of Excel, it can allows you to give the any number of expression, logical expressions. But the let's see now how this affects. Okay, if I say a is lesser than b, yes, this is true, right? If I say a is lesser than c, so if you look at my both the expressions, so both the expressions are returning true, right? A is even lesser than b, again it is also lesser than c, right? So now these two expressions returns true, and when all the conditions specified in and operator returns true, in that case only and operator returns true as an expression output or expression, yes, expression output in the terms of Boolean value. Else, okay, else it returns false. Else it returns false. Meaning, if any one of the condition is false, and operator is going to return you the expression result as an or expression output as an false. Okay. So now what I will do, I will invert this. I will say a is equal to b. Now here, if you look, a is equal to b, this condition false, and this condition is again true. But in case of and operator, if your single condition is not true, meaning if your single condition is false, entire output of, meaning entire output of that expression, that logical expressions will be considered as an false. Meaning when you use the and operators, you must have all the conditions output as a true, then you will get true. Otherwise, at any situation, this operator will return false. Okay, the problem is what? Okay, here I have given two conditions. It is fine even by using this and operator. It is also fine to for two values. But what if the values are more than two? Meaning that if you have to give the conditions more than two. Okay, so here I have given only two conditions. Okay, so in that case, okay, even though this and function is not going to help us, but yes, there is a way. There is logical and operator. Okay, so if you use double ampersand, and by using this operator, you can use any number of condition. If I say a is equal to c, obviously these conditions are false, but still it will return this output, right? And if I say enter, okay, so you can see this is able to return me the output. Okay, what I will do now, I will make everything as correct, meaning the true. Okay, A is lesser than B, A is lesser than C. Even if I say, okay, B is lesser than C. So all of these conditions are true. In that case only, this operator is going to return the true, right? So this is how AND operator is going to work. Either you can use a AND function, give the two conditions. If you have more than two conditions, you can use this ampersand sign as an logical AND operator, right? So this is the one way. Okay, let's say you may have you may want to do this execution in another way. You have to return the output as a true even if any one condition is true. Okay, so in that case, what we need to do is we need to use the OR operator. OR operator. Okay, and what OR operator is going to do? Okay, even though if I say A is greater than C, my first condition is false. Okay, and if I say second condition, C is lesser than B. Okay, so in this case, both the conditions are false. Okay, and now if I enter the hit, okay, sorry, if I hit the enter button, so it returns false. Okay, why? So this works exactly opposite. Okay, and was there which was giving true if all the conditions are true. If in case of false, it will return false when all the conditions are false. Otherwise, okay, otherwise it will return true anyways. Okay, so this is fine, and this is about the OR operator. Even if you, so this is if I made this condition as a true. Okay, so A is lesser than C, this condition is returning true, so entire expression output will be true. So this works on single condition. So sometime you may need to create the columns or calculation based on this kind of situation. So you can use AND operator either or OR operator, whatever is best suitable for the your calculation. Okay. Now, similarly, like we used double ampersand, how to give the OR operator. Okay, if I say OR. So here you have to use double vertical pipe. And if I say B is greater than A, okay. So like this, you can give any number of conditions. The way we used double ampersand for AND operator, here you have to use the double vertical pipe symbol to separate each condition by OR operator. Okay, so this is the way to use AND OR. Okay, and let's surround this. Okay, and you may want to invert the result of this. Okay, as we know that this expression is going to return as true, and if you want to change this, you can use the NOT operator, another third operator. So this will invert the result. If your expression returns true, NOT will convert that into the false. Okay, if your expression return false, NOT is going to convert that as an true. Okay, so this is how it works, and these operators are going to help us to build the conditional columns in Power BI. Okay, so there is something called true and false. Okay, these are just functions. These are just functions. Okay, if you want to use that here, or sometime you may need to pass the true as a value somewhere in one of the expressions. So you can use true. Okay, right, you can use true. So like this, we can use true or we can use false as in just these are the functions which returns the false return false value, true return true value in the form of text. That is what they use. Okay, or there is nothing different than Excel. Even these are available in Excel. Now the thing is how to use if. Okay, So basically, whenever you have to create the calculated column, that is a conditional column, we can say. So in that case, what we can do, we can go and we can use the if else to create the conditional column. Okay, let's say this is my sales data. I have something called here as a sales amount. Okay, and based on the amount, if I wanted to create the tags, okay, if you want to create the observations, so you can use if else. How to use? Okay, let's go and select this. Okay, I will select new column. I'm going to create the calculated column. Okay, and so now these are started. Okay, I will say sales tag flag, whatever you want to say, you can say. So now I'm going to use the conditional operators here to give the conditions. Even if you want to give the multiple condition, you can use and operator or operator also. Okay, so now if I'm going to say, okay, if my sales amount is, okay, and this is where our column name comes in a picture. Okay, earlier whatever I discussed, that was related to the only single value, but here if I say if this is greater than 1000, right, if this is greater than 1000, I would like to say the sales is high. Okay, otherwise the sales is low, and if I hit the enter button, so it will create the result based on the column value. Okay, what it is going to do, it is going to compare the value. It will, for every row, it will pick the value of sales amount column. It will check the condition. If the condition is true, okay, if the condition is true, what it is going to do, it is going to return the first value. If the condition is false, it is going to return the second value. This is how the if formula works, or if function works in Power BI. Even very similar, it works in Excel also. So let's say this is what the about giving one condition, but there may be a situation that you may needs to check for the different values and return the different tags. So in that case, what you can do, you can use the nested if. So where to add the next if? Okay, if this condition is true, you can add this value. Okay, but okay, so the moment if this condition fails, what you need to do, you need to check for the next condition. So when you have to use the nested ifs, what we do, we need to put the next condition at the false place, okay, or second place. Okay, and here again I will say if, and then let me say sales amount. Okay, this is what my sales amount is greater than 500. Okay, 500. What I will do, I will say high. Sorry, high is already done. I will say average. Average is my another tag. Okay, based on the value, it is fine. It is, even you are able to define in this way, that is fine. Okay, so if you want to give the next condition, obviously, as I said, result if false, the place where we have to mention the value, here you can put the next condition. Okay, so if I say if the sales amount is lesser than 500, okay, instead of lesser than, I would like to use two operators, lesser than or is equal to. Okay, lesser than or is equal to. Okay, in that case, what I can do, I can simply say low sales. Okay, so I'm just creating tags, and if obviously this is not going to miss anything, so I will close all the brackets that I opened, and I will hit the enter button. Now you can see that it has created the 3 tags for me as per my formula, right? So this is how you can use nested if else. By using the conditional operators, you can use if formula to return the single value based on the conditions, Now my requirement is to use the multiple conditions to create the tag. Okay, that is also possible. Let's say the condition is if your amount is higher than 1000, and I wanted to create the tags only for this category, meaning the bikes category. Okay, for clothing and accessories, it should not return the tag. Okay, instead of that, what it should do, it should return me the ignore keyword. Okay, that is fine, meaning the ignore word. Okay, so we can define that kind of expressions by using if else, if. Okay, and if. Okay, so now I'm going to give the two conditions, because sales amount and category, I have to check for the sales amount. If I will say sales amount, okay, if the sales amount is greater than 1,000, okay, this is what my first condition. So another condition I can give here for the category column, and if I say sales, okay, instead of this I will say category. So sales category, let's say, is equal to bikes. Okay, this is what my condition. Fine. So this is the final condition. I mean, if you want to give the only two conditions, you can use this AND operator. Otherwise, you can use the double ampersand to separate the multiple conditions. That's what I discussed just time before. Now, if this condition is true, I would like to say high sales. Okay, I will say high sales. Otherwise, and now instead of writing the same thing again and again, what I will do, I will copy this and I will paste this here. Okay, and I will change the value. So now instead of 1,000, I will say 500, and this is average. Okay, again the same thing is here. So I'm going to change the condition, but remaining things are again same. So let's lesser than or is equal to, then it should say lower. Okay, and if all these conditions are false, okay, meaning if the sales category is not there, okay, so sorry, sales category is equal to bike is not there, in that case it should say ignore. So this is how I can give the multiple conditions and create the tags. Okay, create the conditional columns. Now conditional columns, here you can see that I have 4 values or maybe 3 values. Okay, so there is no sales. Okay, meaning whenever there is value lesser than 500, that is not coming in the bikes category. Okay, so it's by practice you will get understood how this works. Okay, but this is how the if else or logical expression help us to return the value. Even not here. Okay, if you want to use the conditional statement in case of measure, so we have seen how it is going to help us. We can use that part here also. Okay, but now my requirement is that, okay, if I am going to create the one of the visual, okay, let's say if I wanted to create the one of the visual like table, and I wanted to create the tags based on the aggregated value, so even that is also possible. You can create the measures with the help of if else, by using if else formula, and then you can drag that measure to create the custom column. Okay, so let me go and select the country here. Okay, country is coming now, and then now the problem is, okay, so by country and by product category, if I have, okay, what went wrong? So let me see, is there anything wrong in case of relationship? No, right? Territory is there, calendar is there, okay, product is there. Then why I cannot bring? Okay, fine. Let's pick the another value. Okay, country and occupation. If I wanted to group the data in this way, okay, let's say country is not working. There may be an issue with the country. Okay, so what I will do, I will go and I will select the product. Okay, I'm just creating a grouping. Okay, now this is the my table. Let me little bit increase the size so that it will be visible clearly. Okay, fine. So if this is my value, so now I would like to, meaning these two columns I used as an aggregated. Okay, and I would like to aggregate the sum of sales there. Okay, so I will pick the sales column and I will drag there. Okay, so there is no relationship. I incorrectly picked this column. Okay, let me remove this. I supposed to go for this table, and there is something called sales amount. And now you can see that this is returning me the sum of sales amount. It is fine. Okay. Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a tag on this table based on the sales amount. I mean, sum of sales amount. Yes, that is also possible. How to do? Okay, go and create the measure. And here I will give the name to the measure as a sales tag. Okay, sales tag. Now, let's say if if, and then I will say sum of sales amount. Okay, sales amount is my first expression. Oh, fine, but the expression is not there. Okay, if sum of sales amount is greater than, okay, whatever the column it has here, okay, internally what it is going to do, it is going to uh, go to the tables and going to perform this calculation, and then it will bring, it will not compare, it will not pick this value, but it will, meaning this formula is going to perform the calculation itself for his expression, and then it will return the result. Okay, it is not going to pick. Okay, if you wants to use the same one in the both the cases, you can create the measure for sales amount total, and then you can use both measures here in case of table column and in case of this condition. So now if the my total sum of sales is greater than 1 lakh, I will say high as my sales flag, and okay, if this is not, then I will say low. Okay, and this is how it's going to work. Even we can create the tags here also, right? So this is how we can use the logical expressions or logical functions, we can say, or conditional expressions in case of Power BI. Okay, the most widely used function is if else. Okay, there is something called if error. This function allows you to execute the two functions. Okay, two functions, and if it returns any error, okay, meaning the first expression returns any error, so in that case, okay, it will return or it will execute the second one. Okay, let's see how this works. Even let's see if error formula and how it is going to work. Okay, let's say I have a sum of sales. Okay, this is my sales table, and if I come here, okay, discount amount. Okay, this is, since this is 0, okay, I am just looking to perform some calculation. Or is there any column which has 0 as an amount? Okay, fine. So what I will do, just for the calculation purpose and to show you the errors, here I'm going to convert this into the whole number. Okay, I don't want this in decimal places, so that it will consider the 0. Okay, somewhere it will show 0. Okay, yes, the zeros are there. So these many rows are there, okay, for which we have tax amount 0. And if I try to divide any column values, okay, with the 0, any number with the 0, so Power BI will return the error. So if I say test if error formula, okay, I'm just going to show you. Okay, and here if I use only, okay, if I say sales amount, okay, this is not giving me the direct suggestion, so I will hit the enter button and then retype the formula. Okay, I will say sales amount. Okay, sales amount must be divided by tax amount. Okay, by any reason, okay, you are doing some kind of calculation. So if I use this expression, okay, oh, so the problem is what, it is not considering 0, but yes, there is infinity, right? Even there is infinity. but the problem is that it is now not going to error. Why? Because there are fraction values are there. Okay, fraction values are there. Okay, let me go and consider what is it is showing. Okay, control Z. Okay, fine. Let me select the card, and let's say this is card. Okay, this is what my test. So I am going to divide a by 0. Okay, and let's see what it is going to return. I think this is returning infinity, and that's what happening here. Okay, let's see this. So, okay, so this is not giving me the number, right? So in this case, if this expression evaluates to error, this is returning infinity. Okay, I think in Power BI this may refer as an error. Okay, so let's see how we can use the if error. Even I can show you if error here also. I will say if error. The first expression returns error. Then I will return the value of a as it is. Okay. Yes. So here in case of Power BI, it says if the first expression return error, okay, in case of if error, then it will execute this second expression and return the value of second expression. So this is how it going to works. Okay. This is about the if error. So not necessary to go and test. Even the same thing I was going to doing here. Okay, let me delete this. So the motto is to explain the if error function. Now we are left with the switch function. Okay, so let's understand how switch work. Okay, so even this is again the conditional expressions. This allows you to define the condition and then evaluate the expression, but in different ways. Okay, but in different way. So let me go here. Okay, so let's say you have date. Okay, and if you extract the day number from this date. Okay, let me go to the calendar column, even here in case. Or weekday, there is something called a formula weekday, I think. And if you use, okay, if I say new column. Okay. And here I will say week day. Okay, is equal to, there is a formula. Let's see, weekday, week num, something is there. So week day. Okay, and if I pass the date here, I will say calendar date, and if I pass the date, okay, so this returns me 1 to 7 as an number. Okay, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to create the new column which shows me the name based on this number. It should show me the name of that day. But if you try to find out the functions in case of Power BI DAX, so you will not find that. But I wanted to achieve that. Okay, I wanted to use this. Okay, so if I go this here, it says first is equal to Sunday and through the 7 is equal to Saturday. I wanted to create that. Okay, so how to create this one? So let me. So for in this situation, okay, if you have a few values and if you want to return the value against that value in the new column or in based on the expressions, so here switch is going to help us. Okay, even this can help us. You can achieve this by using the if else also, but this help us to avoid the nested if else. So instead of that, what I will do, I will say switch. Okay, expression, what is your expression? So I will say weekday. Weekday is, sorry, weekday of this calendar is my expression. Okay. And what is the value? If the value of this expression is 1, okay, value of this expression is 1, I will say this is Sunday. Okay. If the value of this expression is 2, okay, then it should say Monday. Okay. Then if the value of this expression is 3, okay, then it should say Tuesday. Okay. If value of this expression is 4, it should say Wednesday. If the value is 5, it should say Thursday. Then in case of 6, it should say Friday. And in case of 7, so these many values are there. And if I wanted to return the value against each of these, okay, numbers, weekday numbers, so I can return. I will say Saturday. And I will just hit the enter button. Okay. And you can see that based on my number, it is returning me the day name, right? So this is how switch is going to help us to avoid the if else. Even you can achieve this by using nested if else. So this is all about the logical expressions, logical formulas, or logical functions in Power BI. I hope you like the content of this video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day.